Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the Managing Director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing this notion of foreign land ownership here in Thailand. It's been discussed a lot. Quite honestly, I think the media has been rather remiss in talking about this the way that it has. And frankly, I can kind of understand why. BOI has talked about this far more cavalierly than I think they really should be. They've talked about, oh, it's possible for foreigners to own land in Thailand, because BOI has the ability to grant a concession for that. But if you look at that, the scenarios under which that can happen is very, very limited. And these criteria that people are bandying about, I don't know where they're coming up with the authorization for this. So bear with me for a moment. I thought of making this video after reading a recent article from Thai PBS World. It's thaipbsworld.com. Article is titled, Select Foreigners Can Own 0.16 hectares, that's one rai, for residential use in Thailand from September. Quoting directly, effective from September, foreigners will be able to buy up to 0.16 hectares of land in Thailand for residential purposes if they meet certain requirements, said government spokesman Thanakorn Wangboon Kong Chana today, that's Friday. Quoting further, Thanakorn and the Land Department said that the Land Department is in the process of drafting guidelines and regulations pertaining to land ownership by foreigners, which are expected to be ready before September. Well, I find that rather interesting because this is just a government spokesperson. We saw a spokesperson a year ago, actually in Thai PBS World back in April of 21, quoted as saying this isn't going to happen. So, it still remains up in the air. And then meanwhile, again, there are limited circumstances. I mean, it is possible for foreign nationals to own land in Thailand. It's just got to be signed off by the Ministry of Interior, specifically the Minister of Interior, which that's not something that happens overly frequently. I'm thinking this might be something similar to that, where, yeah, it's possible for a foreign national to own, but the sort of the confluence of events that have to occur for that to happen, it's like tumblers falling into the lock in the second Matrix movie, where it's like all this stuff had to occur for that to occur. I don't see this being a broadly used development. I don't see this development applying broadly to many foreigners here in Thailand. It'll probably be a pretty low subset, if anyone. As I've said before, my opinion on it, I'm pretty ambivalent on this and kind of leaning negative. I don't really love the idea of ownership of land. I think Thailand, frankly, has had the right idea on this long term. Thailand does not, in truth, there's not a lot of real estate in Thailand. There's not a lot of land. It's kind of wedged, in a very, not wedged, but it sits in a place that there's, Thailand's not a huge country. It's not like the USA or, Canada or something, or Australia, that just the land goes on. And I know people from those countries, they kind of get miffed when they hear that, Thailand or places in Asia say, hey, we're going to be restricted with foreigners owning our land. Well, they're not as big. I mean, that's a major reason for it. And the dynamic of agriculture and the dynamic of labor to land is kind of inverted here. It's more people work less land as opposed to less people working more land in many Western countries. So again, not to get too deep into this, I can see the argument for it. I can see the possible benefits. I don't really see a ton of people are going to end up enjoying this if it ever comes to fruition. And the big question is, if it ever comes to fruition. I mean, they've been talking about doing regulations and things on this for some time, and, it could be one of those, they talked about travel bubbles for nearly 2 years, and we never saw one of those. So, it'll be interesting to see. We'll certainly keep people updated on this channel as the situation evolves.